Hello, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be reviewing my custom LEGO Transformers Soundwave. And as you can see here, this is definitely not the typical Soundwave alt mode. However, in my opinion, it's looking pretty cool. And instead of going for the van-based alt mode that most of his land-based vehicles have been, I decided to go for this more military-style truck. Unfortunately, the head does stick out slightly at the back, but it isn't too noticeable here. And it doesn't really bother me that much. And I do like this kind of double-grilled aesthetic here at the front. And I think the shaping at the front here worked quite well for this more military-style vehicle. And for some comparisons, we may as well bring in the Titan's Return, as it is the only G1 Soundwave that I own. And as you can see, it is a pretty big departure here. However, the colours, especially in robot mode, match up pretty well. And here he is with the Speed Champion's car. And it actually doesn't scale too badly here, as it is 8 studs wide, and here he is with a minifigure. And I'd say that's just about it for the comparisons, so we may as well get down to the transformation. And start off with the transformation, we can first take the panel that is at the back, and it should just hinge up. This is just to get out of the way for later steps. After this is done, we can come to the arms, as we're going to need to untab them and slide them out on the rail. You should see they do just tab in to the back of the leg piece there. Obviously, we can repeat the step on the other side. So it just needs to be untabbed and slid across. Now we can work on the legs. So the first step for the legs is take down the bottom of the grill pieces, as this is what's going to be the heels in robot mode. And we can also split the legs. But first we can rotate up these pieces. This is going to give us clearance to split the legs, as they do tab in slightly at the middle. Once this is done, we need to rotate around the feet pieces, so there is a hinge and a ball joint, and they should just rotate around like this, where the windshield ends up on the bottom of the foot. And we can also compress the heels here. And that is it for the legs, so they are quite simple. Now we can take the head, and it should just hinge back, as this is going to give us clearance for the next step. For the next step, we take the entire shoulder and back assembly, and hinge it back so it is flush with the chest. And while we're here, we may as well just rotate around the hands. So there are the hands in position. Now it's time to do the back. So you can see that top panel piece, well, it's going to need to rotate around. Once this is done, it will double hinge and tab into the back, which should secure everything. And that is it, tabbed in. And the final step is the head. So it is on one of those T-bar joints, and it's just going to need to be rotated up, and the earpieces can be folded back. And that is it for the transformation. So here he is in his robot mode, and in my opinion, he looks pretty good here. And the articulation does actually work quite well here, even if his legs are slightly out of proportion. And the only thing he's really missing are the angle rocker joints, which do work pretty well. However, the arm ball joints and are slightly too loose. But you can see here the arms at the shoulder also go out slightly strangely, as it does leave quite a big gap. But apart from that, it works quite well. And we can bring in the Titan's Return again for a comparison. So you can see he has the tape player chest, even though that is not part of his vehicle mode. Unfortunately, it's not functional in my design, but that is more because there's just not enough room, as if I was to add a hollow gap there, the entire back would be hollow. And I also haven't designed any minions for him anyway. But here he is with grapple, and you can see he is actually quite tall. And the shoulder pylons definitely help in that slightly menacing aesthetic. And I think the shoulder pylons work surprisingly well here. And they do rival Ultra Magnus's pretty well. Now, I haven't gone into full robot mode details here, as I'm planning on either doing a blaster or sound blaster here. And obviously, since there'll be a retool, or just a slight recolor, then I might as well save the more robot mode details for that video. But anyways, that's just about it for this review. So if you've enjoyed and want to see more LEGO Transformers, then please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video, so I hope you enjoyed.